Don't only talk shit, I walk it. Yeah, that's what I'm about, cause they counted me out, but I didn't fold. Never folded. Back on the wall, still on 10 toes. Play if you wanna get exposed. Not many niggas took this road. I kept it solid, but niggas switch codes. Who knew the streets would get this cold?
Had a minor setback, but we here now. That's all that matters. Like MJ with the 4-5. And today I got a real special guest. Someone that I love, someone whose ass I grew up busting, and someone who I'm very proud of. Indiana State All-Conference guard, Jordan Barnes. Jordan, appreciate you for coming on, spending your time.
Thanks for having me, man.
How you been doing? How's quarantine been going, and how you been keeping busy?
It's all good. Just trying to stay out the way, getting in the gym here and there, and really just lay back, really.
We're gonna get into it a little later, but you preparing for the draft right now, and this is one of the most interesting drafts summers that ever.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Normally, after everybody's senior year with the draft process starting, you normally get straight into workouts 5 days a week, lifting, training, really hardcore. And I mean, with all this going on, we can't even get in the gym 5 days a week. So we've been going 3 days a week, just doing a lot of skill stuff, a couple days, 3-on-3, and then just getting up a lot of shots in between there. So, I mean, hopefully when everything calmed down a little, we can get back to going full circle.
Talk about, playing for CBC, and, you played for, Justin Tatum. In the middle of that Tatum versus Tatum rivalry, talk about how big of an impact that was on you and how interesting it was playing in that dynamic.
That was huge. I mean, I grew up playing with Jason. I grew up playing for Coach Tatum, actually. And so when he got the job at my high school, it was kind of a sign of relief, where I knew that the type of basketball he would be playing, the type of atmosphere he would bring. And I mean, for the city of St. Louis, you can just tell that played a big part, especially with the rivalry, moving the games from our local high school to Lindenwood and playing in that atmosphere. It was good. It was good for that to be shown again.
Yeah. And people don't know, your freshman year, y'all supposedly were supposed to have a better team.
Yeah, we had a whip my freshman year.
Yeah.
Pat, Ray, Ariana, JB,
Yeah.
C. Will. Yeah.
That was a crazy team. And I mean, talk about how you came off the bench for that team, and now sophomore year, new coach, almost not a new team, but a lot of different pieces that ain't played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And now y'all win state. So talk about that run and how much impact Tad had on that, and how much that taught you to be a leader.
Yeah. Well, my freshman year, we had a squad. It's just we couldn't really put it together. My sophomore year, people don't know, we went through hell my sophomore year when Coach Tatum was there. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of. I remember one time we were in Ohio over like January, around there. It was snowing outside. We was playing in one of these top-ranked tournaments. We got caught in the hotel, just fooling around the hotel. Coach Tap made us go outside, made us run in the snow with what we had on. It wasn't even like put some clothes on, put a hoodie on. It's like go out there with what you got on. Some people got on tank tops, T-shirts, shorts.
In the middle of Ohio.
Middle of Ohio in the winter, bro. So man, we went through hell that year. I mean, we got our ass beat when we went to California, and I mean, I feel like that all helped us when we were coming down to play the stretch in Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, you end up winning that state championship in Columbia, playing against what was that, Hickman, Jimmy Witt,
Mm-hmm.
and them guys. And oh man, that's a classic game. Shout out Jordan Barnett, 43 and 20. I'll never forget that, man. That's dog. Talk about baskets.
They just getting it all type of ways.
Yeah, I'm post up, ISOs, anything you wanted, he gave it to you. That was a legendary game. Shout out JB, the other JB. But and then so also you played for the then St. Louis Eagles, now Brad Billy League, and talk about teams. Man, I mean, I always put y'all up there as one of the best AAU teams ever that come out of St. Louis. And I mean, you got Xavier Sneed, Jason, Tyler Cook, Jeremiah Tillman, Jordan Goodwin. Like, come on, man. How was that experience? And then talk about going to Peach Jam, and that experience and how that affected you as a player.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we had a bunch of high profile guys. Obviously, we had Jason, Tyler, X, Jeremiah. We also had Verge, Alonzo.
Arizona State.
Yeah, and we had a few younger guys on that team as well. But I mean, just being around those guys every day just showed the true competitive nature that we had. How everybody came from St. Louis, how tough we were, and I feel like that played a role when we went to Peach Jam. We were down 20 in the semifinal game, and we had to fight back and get that win. So I mean, it shows the true character of not only the organization but the players here in St. Louis.
Yeah, talk about that first stage of your recruitment process. I'm talking about getting your first looks, getting your first offers, and what did that feel like?
I'm not really sure when my first offer was. I know who it was from, but I don't really remember. I think it was my sophomore year, my summer of my sophomore year, I want to say. But yeah, I mean, the recruiting process is crazy, bro. Just hearing from different schools, hearing from different coaches, seeing them on the sidelines at your games. It's different, but you gotta take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it's not everything that it's hyped up to be. You gotta really get to know the people that you're planning on being around for the next 4 years. I mean, I feel like that's truly important. And I think people underestimate the value of just being able to go to where you're wanted instead of going to a place where they're not going to use you in the next couple of years. I feel like I did that when I chose to go to Indiana State. I feel like they really wanted me, and I mean, I think they showed it through my whole time there.
If you could tell any unranked kid from St. Louis, similar to yourself, that's going through any kind of recruiting process, don't got to be D1, or it could be D2, D3, any. Give them some advice.
It's really up to yourself. Like, you need to go where you're wanted. Basketball it's the same game no matter where you're at. I mean, it's basketball, although the competition may be higher level, but I mean, you got to go where you're wanted. And if you go where you're wanted, then you could prove yourself or just become the player that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to a school where you're not wanted, then you're not able to grow to your full potential. Yeah. And then you'll be stuck in the mud over there. All right.
You get to Terre Haute, Indiana. How much of a culture shock was that for you coming from St. Louis?
It was different, man. You know what I'm saying? St. Louis is more of a bigger city feeling. Kind of, you got to be cut from a different cloth to be from St. Louis, as they say. Everybody knows the types of things that goes on around here. But when I got to Terre Haute, it was kind of like, it's a small town, and it's kind of like
small.
Everybody knows basketball. Everybody likes basketball, though. You know what I'm saying? They like basketball and they like to win. Yeah. So I mean, it was a culture shock for sure, but I mean, it was something I definitely needed. I mean, it helped me out a lot. I mean, being in Terre Haute, it helped me just stay away from the outside factors and be able to just go in the gym. And I feel like that helped me in my 4 years there.
Yeah, and you just like G-Land said, he said you said you ain't gonna come right in and start. You ain't gonna come in and touch the ball 20, 30 times and all that stuff. So your freshman year, you ended up coming off the bench.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I felt like, of course, I wanted to start, but coming off the bench, it kind of helped me get in there and fulfill a role and be able to be ready to go and stuff like that. But my first tournament when we played Iowa State, they had Monte Morris on the team, and he was, of course, a All-American. Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of that game right there was really my welcome to Division I basketball. I think I had like 8-10 points. So I mean, it was kind of. I think he had like 20 though. So,
but people don't know Monte Morris. He's nice. That's a bucket right there.
It was. He's an All-American. That's all we said on the scouting report, All-American.
All-American. Nice. But y'all end up playing some really good schools, man. And you have a good freshman year. You make all conference, all freshman team for your first year. And that list, that I was looking down that list, that's a stacked list. You got Landry Shamet from Wichita State. That was the last year Wichita State was in the Valley, and Landry Shamet playing for the Clippers now. Talk to me about making an all freshman team and then your mindset going into sophomore year. What kind of jump did you think you can make?
And all freshman team was just, I mean, I knew I was one of the best freshmen in the Valley, so it was kind of expected. But I mean, after that year, I just put a lot of pressure on myself. Our starting guard was leaving, and I just wanted to step into that role, no matter what it was, scoring, facilitating. So that summer, I was in the gym 2 or 3 times a day, just trying to get it in. And I mean,
Stayed over there over the summer?
yeah, I stayed in Terre Haute over the summer and was able to use the gym, the weight room, 24 hours. So I mean, like, I feel like that kind of helped me propel into my sophomore year.
And that sophomore year was hot, to say the least. I mean, 117 made threes in 1 year, one behind Trey Young, and I think you played 5 less games than him that year, if I'm not mistaken. Talk to me about being labeled as a scorer from the coaches around the Valley and that role. And talk to me about how, like, have you ever been labeled a scorer? Because as far as I know, you always been a pure PG, pass first. And talk to me about that sophomore year, how it felt. I'm sure the basket felt like it was 50 feet wide.
Man, it felt like I was throwing a rock in the ocean, man. For real. I mean, it was. I was just. I had ultimate confidence in myself. I was confident in the work that I did that summer, and it just felt like every time I threw the ball up, it felt like it was going in. So I mean, that's a true testimony to being able to put in a lot of work in the summer and just translating your game to the actual court.
Single season record for threes as a sophomore, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, second all time for a season. So I know you're not a big awards guy. You don't like the list. You don't like the voters, but talk to me about getting named all conference in a Missouri Valley that's really competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you said, I don't really pay attention to the awards like that. I kind of let my game do the talking because I mean the awards are based on individual play and winning as a team. So we didn't have the best season my sophomore year, but I mean it's just different when you average a certain amount and you get on a conference team. They really place winning above more than anything. So that's what I was really trying to focus on in the years coming up, just to focus on winning. I mean, I wasn't really caring about my stats. I really just wanted to win.
Sophomore year, you won more games than your freshman year. So you got high expectations coming in for your junior year. And me and you talked about your junior year, you know, in retrospect, plenty of times and what it's meant for you. But for those who don't know, you come out first half of the season, averaging 21 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Lou Henson midseason award list for the best mid-major player in America. I'm talking shooting the skin off the ball and playing with such high confidence. And then the second half of the year, literally the first game of conference season starts, and you kind of fall into a slump.
Like you said, it was a slump. It kind of played a role in the way our season went that year. But like you said, we learned from it. It was kind of difficult for me just going through it, just being at the top of the totem pole, and then just all of a sudden just dropping down to someplace you hadn't been in a while. So I mean, I'm saying, if you stay in a slump, it's just about staying confident. Like you said, use it to your advantage, and just continue to put in the work. I mean, it's not a lot of, you can't get down on yourself because that'll only make you play differently and make you think differently. But I mean, sometimes you got to take a step back and readjust yourself. So I feel like that's what I needed to do. And I feel like that kind of helped me propel into my senior year, where I feel like I felt like personally I had the best year of my career.
Mm. And you also you touched on your hard work. You gotta trust that hard work that you put in. You know what I mean? And trust that that's gonna shine through the slump
Uh,
as well. So yeah, and you touched on your senior year, and you had a hell of a senior year. I want to say again, junior year, you even though with that slump, you did win more games than your sophomore year. So we've seen a steady improvement.
mm-hmm.
And then talk about senior year. Essentially, got a new team coming in, especially new starting pieces. Um, well, just talk to me about your senior year and how that went.
Man, my senior year, that was besides my sophomore year in high school, that's probably one of the favorite teams I've been on since well, playing my basketball career. My sophomore year, and then that Peach Jam team, my senior year is one of the best teams I've been on. It was just, I mean, like family. We joke around, we play too much, but when we got on the court, we knew it was serious. And me being a senior, we had a bunch of younger guys, and I knew I was gonna have to be that leader. So I focused on that a lot that year, and I feel like it translated into the games we won. I mean, we were third in the conference, finished third in conference after being projected 6 or 7, and I feel like we really propelled that year, and it really took Indiana State to a different level for this year and the years to come for them.
Yeah, facts. And that's one thing that you always told me is that even from the beginning, you told me you wanted to change the program. You wanted to be part of some change it to like a winning culture, and you did that. Although it wasn't the way you wanted it to end, you still accomplished that goal.
Right.
Winning record your senior year after only winning 6 games or so the first, the freshman year.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's hats off to you. That's leadership.
I remember we had a talk. What was it? Was it my sophomore year? Just like how many points? How many points you think I could average my sophomore year? And I think we was sitting in the car. We said like 12, 13 points. And then that year
It happened
came.
like that.
That year came, and I mean, it's just I didn't really pay attention to the categories until kind of like the end, or whatever being thrown in my face and stuff like that. But what I did for the program, but I mean, I don't really play for that. I was my whole purpose of playing was to make it to the NCAA tournament. But not being able to do that, come up short of that, I mean, it's good to still see the program is still taking steps forward, and that's all I want to do. I just want to leave a mark, leave a place better than I found it, and I feel like I've done that.
Talk about the process of choosing an agent and how that was.
Yeah, man. I had a group full of agents hitting me up, talking to my coaches and stuff like that.
How early?
Huh?
How early?
Oh, I was getting them during the season, but I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to it. I would send it to my mom. I would send it to the coaches. I would send it to you. Just let y'all do some research on them. But man, the agent I'm signed with now, Gary Durant from DSM. I had been talking to him for a little minute, and he actually drove from Canada to St. Louis to come see me play. And we kind of got to talk a little bit after that. And I mean, just seeing the hard work and the effort that he put in, making that drive to come see me play, like that's not an easy trip. You know what I'm saying?
Canada is not.
Yeah, it's not an easy trip. So I mean, just the dedication he has for his athletes, his players is top notch, and that's what I wanted to be around. I wanted to be around a hardworking agent, and he wants to be around hardworking players. So I feel like with that kind of group and that mesh, that I feel like that'll be good for us.
Talk about that roster he's put together. He certainly put together a nice little some kids I think could definitely play in the NBA. Talk about some of the kids that he's got. I know he's got some local kids, and talk about how that's going to affect you, and talk about how it's going to push you to work harder when y'all all can finally get in the gym together.
Yeah, man. Xavier Sneed had a great career at Kansas State. Mamadi at Virginia was playing at the end of the season every year. Virginia was always in the Final Four championship. Javin goes to Duke. Tyree White. I mean, it's just he's got a lot of players over there, man, and it's just being around that type of talent, that type of players that work that hard. I mean, that only pushes you to work harder yourself. So I mean, you gotta, like you said, it's a grind. You gotta accept the grind, and you gotta be ready to go.
For sure. Is we kind of touched on it earlier. So, but what have you been working on as far as specifics? I know it's early. People are still just now getting back in the gym to prepare for the draft, and we're looking for a draft date coming up. But what have you been working on as far as your game and trying to get ready for the next level?
Man, I'm really just trying to become more smarter, a little bit stronger. Show I'm not a liability on a defensive end, and just shoot the cover off the ball. I mean, I feel like that's what teams are looking for in a point guard, being a great leader, knowing the spots on the floor, knowing their players' tendencies, and I feel like doing that will just put me in the right position and around the right organization. I feel like I'll be okay and have a good chance of succeeding and thriving in any system.
Who in the NBA do you compare yourself to? It doesn't. You know what? Let me take that back. It don't even have to be NBA. What professional player do you compare yourself to? Not necessarily talent-wise, but would you compare your game to?
I mean, the players I study the most are players like Damian Lillard, Steve Nash, Tony Parker, just smaller guards who figure out a way to succeed in the NBA when there's a lot of length, a lot of talent. Besides Damian Lillard, the other two aren't as athletic, and they figure out ways to get their shot off, get players in the right spots, finish around the basket. So I mean, those are really the three type of the guys that I've been watching the most lately.
Gotcha. And Dame will dunk on you.
Yeah,
Dame will dunk on you. That's one of my favorite parts about Dame.
Yeah,
He'll put up from 35, but he will dunk on you too.
He's gonna get in that round.
I want you to give advice to kids from St. Louis or athletes from St. Louis that's trying to make it out. Not necessarily make it out, but trying to leave their home and go play college basketball, whether at any level, or play professional basketball at any level. What advice would you give high schoolers that's trying to play college basketball right now?
I would tell them don't worry about college, at least for the time being that they're in high school. I feel like some people get caught up too much in worrying about what school they're going to go play at instead of just enjoying the time that they have in high school, getting better every day, and just letting the hard work fall into place and put you in the right position where you're able to succeed. Because I feel like once you start thinking about the steps in college, you start missing out on the opportunities in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that if I could give a piece of advice for somebody that's trying to play at the next level, I would just say just stay focused in the present.
What was senior year in college, JB? What kind of advice would he give to freshman year in college, JB?
My senior year would tell my freshman year just to stay the course. I would probably step into more of that leadership role when I was younger as a sophomore, because I felt like as much as I didn't want to just step into that role, I knew people would listen to me just because by the way I put the ball in the basket my sophomore year. So I feel like I would have stepped into more.
That made 117 threes, not.
I mean, it took me some time to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sophomore in college. I'm 19, 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? I got 22, 23, 24-year-old people on my team. It took me a minute to get into that leadership role, but my senior year would tell my freshman year to just be that leader as soon as you step on the court, always.
Give me your top 5 in the NBA right now. Top
players?
5 players. I know you've seen ESPN lists and just disregard it.
All right. In order?
Nah.
All right. Bron, KD, Steph, James, Kawhi. That's top 5.
James making the top 5. I like that.
James definitely in top 5.
I like that. All right, so I'm gonna give you one better. Give me a top 5 point guards in the NBA, no order. This coming from a PG, so a little bit more weight.
Steph number 1 off rip.
Okay,
Steph.
I'd see.
Dame number 2. Kyrie 3rd. Russ 4.
you like you didn't even want to put him in there.
I mean, but dog, the triple double is easy. I'm trying to think of the teams right now. I can't figure out a 5.
If everybody healthy, I'm throwing Wall in there.
Sorry, in my 5.
You drunk. you drunk. We gonna move on. Kyle Lowry, all right. Well, when you make it to the NBA, who is someone that you want to match up against? Not necessarily who you gonna give buckets to, but who's someone when you line up against, you're gonna be like, damn, I can't believe I'm playing against.
I want to play against Dame, man. That's been one of the players that I've been looking up to since he stepped into the NBA. Just being able to watch himself grow and see the type of the player he is, from winning Rookie of the Year to being an All-NBA player. It'll be a surreal moment for me to just be able to play against him.
I'm gonna steal this from All the Smoke. Who would you like to see come on here? And if you give somebody that you got access to, you got to put in the work. You got to plug us.
Yeah. Let's get Jay on here. Let's just get all the St. Louis cats on here, man. You know, let's get Jason on here, Tyler, X. They ain't got nothing but time, man. So let's get him on here.
All right, I'm gonna reach out to you for the plug. You got the plug. I'm definitely.
I'm gonna get you.
I appreciate it.
What's up?
Kept it solid, but niggas switch codes. Who knew the streets would get this cold? Careful who you